All right, guys. Hopefully we've got audio here. I've got probably too much audio. Let me mute the other mic. I got a new setup here. Oh, please bear with me. Trying to figure it all out, everything that I have going on here. But it is real reefing, which I've been doing for some time. I'm Terence. Some of you may know me. Some of you may not know me out there. But I'm doing this one from home on the channel where I've created to really do a lot of reef keeping news out and about while I travel. But even then, I want to do some stuff at home and show you guys what I've got going on at home and show you my reef keeping experience, stay in touch with you guys, hear what you've got to say, and really get an idea for what kind of content people want out there that I can give them and give them a real approach. You can see behind me this tank here is super dirty because this is real reefing. I could have got up and made this thing spick and span, and you can see down here there's a blue tarp down here on the bottom. That thing has been there for a year and a half. My loving wife Nancy, who also takes part in the channel, she is so understanding because the tank usually looks so good that we haven't put a cabinet around it yet, but I think my time is running out. Anyway, again, my name's Terence. Many of you know me from Neptune Systems, where I used to work for about 9 years, bringing all of the Neptune Systems products to markets, helping develop the products, helping market them to some people's delight and to others not so much, but all fun, all in the same. And as I said, I thought I'd bring you guys a little channel here. If you notice right away, there's a URL at the top of the screen. I do have the capability and the technology here. I'm gonna find my headphones somewhere here. I don't know where they are. Oh, there they are. To put the rest of you on, or some of you on the stream, and let you join in and be face-to-face and, well, kind of face-to-face, and ask questions or be part of the live stream, because I think that's kind of real and fun. So I'd love doing that. I see we've got a number of people on here. Thank you so much for joining. And if you could, you guys do me a big favor. If you haven't subscribed yet to the channel, do that for me. It is a way that kind of keeps my ego going. If I see low numbers out there, man, it hurts. But if you're watching the stream, if you know people that want to watch the stream, subscribe, ask them to subscribe, hit the little bell on there. That way, if I do these things, which I'm probably going to continue to do some of them spontaneously, you'll know exactly when they happen. As I said, I am doing a little bit different setup here today. I think, I don't know, I got a lot of ambient light behind me. I'm trying out a lot of new things, so bear with me. If you guys have questions for me, feel free to ask. Oh, that's not too bad. Put on a little light there. In the chat, I do have it open, and if you do join at that URL, any of you are welcome to do so. This is going to be a lot more casual than I think some of the other stuff that I've done. So I'll try to keep it that way. It's hard because I'm used to doing these kind of like, okay, hit the bullet points. So I'm going to kind of free flow this, but some of the stuff that I am going to do today is talk to you guys a little bit about the channel, talk to you about why I haven't posted a video as frequently as I'd like to. The last one was about 2 weeks ago. I did one, I have a lot of content from coming across the country in our RV. This channel, a lot of the videos, if you go look at the video list, is going to be, oh look, the first person is joining in here. And so when you do join into the live chat here that we have, I don't have you on the screen immediately. You will be in the green room. And if you chat in the green room and hit the green room chat, I will be able to see kind of what you want to chat about, and we'll bring you live on here. You may have to wait in the green room for a little bit because I'm not going to bring everybody on straight away into the live stream. But Brian Kurtz is here in the green room already. This is amazing technology, and we'll get to you in a minute, Brian. So anyway, we travel around the country, myself, my wife, the dog. We make videos, and the latest one I did was actually with Frank Garner, Frank's Tanks, in Fort Worth, Texas, right near Milov's Reef. Actually plugged to Mark and Milov's Reef and all the great stuff he does. He's right around the corner, Frank Garner, and he's a local fish store. It's been there a long time, but the real story is he is the inventor and manufacturer of Aptasia X. No, sorry, it's F-Aptasia. I wanted to make that. I guess that joke didn't hit, but yes, so it is the F-Aptasia product, and so I talked to Frank all about that. And there is a video out there on that. So some of the reasons I haven't been doing as many videos is I've been doing some home renovation stuff. Actually, I got some slides here. I'm going to pull you guys through some slides. Let me see if I can make it work on the channel here. See if I can make the tech work or not. Nope, that's not the one. I think this is the one. Look, there's the channel. And let's see here. Let's go pick what app we're going to use. We'd get into some weird time warp if I actually played that video. And let's go to Keynote. Let's see here. I think I know what I need to do here. I think I need to find my Chrome app right down here. And come on, come on. Oh, I'm in Chrome already, that's why. I'm on this. I need to go in Keynote. Da-da. There we go. Come on. You can do it. Secondary. Nope. Primary. There we go. Oh, man. So tough. So let me get here. Let me get through some of these. It's weird not hearing myself in these headphones because I'm used to hearing myself come back. I don't have a feedback loop into the headphones in this setup. But first of all, before I start talking about all of this crazy stuff, I do want to give a shout out to Nelson from Portugal. Thank you for joining. Port Wolf has asked a question. We'll probably get to that one. JCS Reefing, yes, absolutely. I'm also going to talk about some product stuff that I have here that I'm going to go through maybe in the next few live streams. I'm not going to go through all of it right here. Again, thank you all you guys for joining me. Let's talk about what I've been up to. Some of it is not all reefing. It's actually my house. So if this bores you, I'm sorry. We'll build up to some more reefing stuff. I won't go through it. This is what my kitchen used to look like, and if you know wood floors, you'll know that that wood floor is buckled. And you can see over there in the open kitchen opening right there, there's actually an RODI in there. And although, here's a tip for you guys, okay? It's kind of related to reef keeping. If you, if you have
all right, guys,
in your kitchen.
Hopefully we've got audio here. I've got probably too much audio.
Let me mute the other mic. My
I got
other
a new
one
setup
here. Oh, please bear with me. Let's kill that one. Sorry, guys. Dun, dun, dun. And back to this. Okay. So yeah, if you have RODI under the sink, you usually are going to be thinking about RODI that's going to be leaking from the RODI. That's not what happened to me. It was all fine. All the RODI stuff worked. But since you know how RODI works, if you're a reef geek like us, there's the good water and there's the wastewater. And the wastewater generally goes right into your drain line. And in my kitchen, I have a low spot in the one drain line that every once in a while gets a little bit backed up. And it had backed up, and it was around the holidays, around New Year's, 2 years ago. And I said, oh, that stopped up sink. I'll get to that tomorrow morning. It's too much of a hassle. So you guys already know what happened. I woke up in the morning and water was rolling over the top of the sink because all the waste that needed to go down the drain had nowhere to go. And so it rolled all the way across my floor and ruined all my hardwood floors. And my hardwood floors actually go under my cabinets, and my cabinets are attached to the countertop, and the bottom cabinets have to match the top. So long story short, I had to replace the whole kitchen, which, oh yeah, so sad for my wife, right? She gets a brand new kitchen. But that's what I've been doing for about 2 years total, but hardcore for the last 8 weeks. So there's a lot of this going on, a lot of going to the dump, a lot of tearing stuff apart. But in the end, it all came out really great, and we're super happy with what we have there. And I relocated the RODI under the house in the crawl space, and the wastewater goes out to the garden plants outside the crawl space. So I don't have that issue any longer, hopefully, with that kind of a leak at least. So anyway, that was a lot of work to put this kitchen together. I did a lot of the work myself. I did contract most of the work, but still a ton of it was done by myself. We put in heated floors. It's got tile floors down there that look like wood. It's got, all kinds of stuff, even a lighted bar that I put in. And our microwave has been 18 months. It's still not arrived, so there you go. it's a lot of work, but I'm glad it's done. And if I'm lucky, we'll still be in the house 25 years from now, and before I move out into an old folks home or something, and don't have to worry about it anymore. We did bring the, all of it to the, the right front entryway, and that's kind of where I'm sitting right now. That's my my live streaming setup that I have right now, instead of on the stand for the aquarium. That's where it is. And yeah, it's all tile floor. Did not move the aquarium, actually cut the wood floor out from around the aquarium stand and tiled up to it. If I ever move, I've got enough tiles, I'll just give them to the new owner and give them a few $1,000s and tell them, there, go to it. That's the beauty also of the porcelain tile. It doesn't fade much, so I don't anticipate leaving anytime soon, but who knows. So I also then moved all the kitchen cabinets into the garage and just finished this up last week. So needless to say, like I said, I haven't been in the mood for doing a lot of video editing, so now you can hold me to my feet to the fire a little bit more on a lot of the content that I've stored up and interviews, and hopefully get them out to you guys on the Real Reefing channel. They definitely a lot of projects to do, but all more or less done. And then there was this thing came into my life. My son's birthday, he got a Switch. Yes, he is over 20 years. He's 22 years old. He wanted a Nintendo Switch, so we got him one, and he got this game. Those of you who know what it is know that it is the biggest time suck known to man. I haven't been really into video games much for quite a number of years, but it's The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild for those of you that don't know. So this is the one that the video I did for Frank. So go out and watch that if you could. It's really interesting to find out, in my opinion, about what I call aquapreneurs, people who are making a living, like Mark Levinson, right? In the reef keeping community. They don't necessarily have gigantic businesses. They're not Aperture, okay? Making millions and millions and millions of dollars, but Frank might make, maybe he might make $1 million off his product. Who knows? Maybe more. Maybe he is making more. But the fact is that he's doing this himself. He's an entrepreneur, and it's really, really cool. This is what I did 2 days ago. So now we're in reefing, and we're talking about real reefing stuff. This is what it looked like. I have the Super Burrito Supreme El Nacho Grande size of the this calcium reactor. It's the one that I did up with it actually runs a core pump to circulate, and I usually use for the longest time the coral rubble from Julian Sprung, his what is it called, Reform or whatever, but anyway, Renew, age. But he had a hard time getting the big stuff for quite a while. He now has it again. And in the interim, I got this stuff from Neptune Aquatics, was able to supply me some here locally. That was very similar. The difference is that, wow, I mean, the amount of stuff, because they get it right out of the ocean. And probably with a big old back hose or something. And then Julian tells me that they have to pick through it to get all the rocks and plastics, and there's all kinds of stuff in it. Reborn, thank you very much, Devin, appreciate it, man. But they have to pick through all of that stuff, and the stuff I got from Robert, I mean, I appreciated getting it, obviously, because I didn't have Reborn, but I didn't enjoy having to pick through all of it. And I just ran out, so I wasn't able to completely fill it, and I'm going to have to get some more. I'm going to have to hit up one of the suppliers and get myself some more Reborn. This thing takes a lot. When people ask me about how hard it is to take care of this reef, one of the things I tell them is, because it's so large, it's a lot easier than you think, but also when you supersize certain pieces of equipment, it also means that your cycle time to have to do maintenance is much longer. So I did the same thing on my swimming pool. I bought a professional filter. It's got the little filter cartridges in it. The regular ones the swimming pool have take 4. The commercial one has double decker, has 8. So I don't have to clean the filters in my pool as often. And the same thing with the aquarium. I have this ginormous calcium reactor, which means I only have to change it out on the order of maybe once every 7 to 9 months. Do I have to basically go and refill the thing? Because it is a pain to do that if you have an aquarium. But certainly, you know, refilling it with the coarse stuff is the way to go. If you're going to have a calcium reactor, this stuff is the way to go, in my opinion, because it doesn't clog up. And get the biggest, if you're going to have a calcium reactor, get the biggest one that you can fit under your stand or in your fish room or whatever it is, because not because you need that much throughput, but because you don't have to change it that often. And look how nasty that looks too. Oof. Then there was this. I didn't take a before picture. I should have. This was disgusting. This is my sulfur denitrator. That I changed out yesterday as well. Sometime if you guys want me to talk about it, I will actually talk about how I put that together in terms of with the Apex stuff and how I run the ORP on it. And the latest things I've been doing is breaking the myths of peristaltic pumps, meaning people use peristaltic pumps for a lot of these reactors, calcium reactors and sulfur denitrators and whatnot. And they specifically talk about needing to have a continuous run, you know, peristaltic pump. And I'll go on right here and just tell you that's nonsense. You don't have to have that. It's absolute, utter nonsense. They're more maintenance than they need to be. They're not required. Maybe if you had a tiny, tiny calcium reactor or let's say a sulfur denitrator, it might make sense. But the fact is that with a regular peristaltic pump, you can run it intermittently and it'll do just fine. I've done that for years with the dose on my system. But lately, I've even been able to take that out of the mix and have moved to using a PMUP from Neptune Systems with a cycle time on it. And you know, most people will say it's not possible, it won't work, nothing. The fact is it works. You know, for this calcium reactor, it's off on the PMUP with about a 12-foot run, not much elevation. It's off for about, I think it's 55, no, I think it's up to 1 minute and 5 seconds since I changed the media. And it's on for 20 seconds. And how much it puts out doesn't really matter. What you look at is you look at what your consumption rate is, and the real key to this is having something like an alkalinity monitor, whichever one. Trident, you can have the Alcatronic, you can have anybody's alkalinity monitor, because now you can see if you're trending up or trending down, and you just adjust that flow rate through those reactors accordingly. In the case of the calcium reactor, obviously, you're looking at the DKH of your alkalinity. In the case of a sulfur denitrator, you're looking to get a consistent negative ORP in there. And you know, all of those things I can do remotely, so I'm not down in my fish room but every 2 weeks, because I'm able to manage things much more from an electronic perspective. So if you guys have any interest in that kind of stuff, you know, make sure that you put it in the comments, and in future, you know, live streams or whatever, I'll put that together. Anyway, I went to Vegas, saw a monkey at the Bellagio, saw an awesome plant. It was 114 outside. This was an ad for, sorry, I had to get some humor here. This was an ad in our room for a massage, and I swear to God, when I just quickly glanced at it, I thought it was an ad for like an undertaker or something. It looked like somebody's laid out to be prepped, like a 6 feet under or something. So I had to take a picture. Yes, that was before it got too hot. That's Teddy, who you also see on our videos as well. There's Teddy stealing some Wendy's fries. This is one of my favorite succulents that looks like the plant from Tell Me. It's Teddy when he travels. Corals at Reef-A-Palooza. So I was at Reef-A-Palooza, New York. I did not, there wasn't any good new video there. In fact, it was kind of like a frag fest. It wasn't a great manufacturer's event. There wasn't really very much new at all there. So I didn't really shoot any video interviews, but I did do a couple of live streams there out on the site as well, or on the YouTube channel. But I did shoot some good coral stuff, really neat stuff of corals that are in the booths that were there. Video, just beautiful kinds of stuff, you know, we all love. Saw Ryan's Prezo. If you haven't seen that, it has been Little Shop of Horrors. Thank you again, Devin. Man, brain. Maybe I need some more beverage. So, I did go, the main reason I really, even though I didn't know what was going to happen at New York, that we did want to venture up in the RV up to New York, is I wanted to see Ryan's live presentation on the biome and the things that he said there. And yeah, that's my light next to him. So he's eternally grateful. He told me yesterday when I spoke to him that I brought that light because it was so dark in there, and they were shooting the video so that you guys could see it, and it actually allowed it to come out. But they did a bunch of these experiments, and interestingly enough, for myself and a few of my reef buddies, including Paul Jansen, who's at Neptune Systems still, as well as Dave Anderson and others, who have always used this technique of seeding new aquariums despite potential pests that might be there, simply for the fact of the diversity of the flora and fauna, the biome that might be there, to make the most robust start for an aquarium with the least chance of getting things like dinos and other things, has always been something that we've done, and we've always done it and known that it's the right way to go as far as sharing biome, so to speak, and knowing the risks involved. But Ryan and all of the experiments and things that they did with these tanks actually kind of proved it out. So it was interesting to listen to his talk and to go, oh, that's why that works. Oh, that's why I've been doing that for so many years. Oh, that's why we all of us buddies have been doing that same kind of thing for so many years. So I definitely recommend going out there and giving it a look if you haven't. So there's that. Okay, what else? Oh yeah, that's Reef-A-Palooza. That is, as we went through Pennsylvania, one of the cool things about what we're doing, obviously, is seeing reef keeping sites, but I'm also get to see some history stuff, which I'm really big into. Maybe I'll put that as like a quiz if you guys, anybody knows what that is. I'll leave that out there. I'm not going to say what it is. And that one too, we'll leave that out there too to see if anybody knows what that is, because they're definitely interesting places. That's our rig, so if you haven't seen any of the videos, that's what we travel around in. And hopefully in an upcoming video, I'm actually going to put an aquarium in there and make that part of the subject matter. So that will be super interesting. I have something down here I'll show it to you in a sec that I'm liking possibly do that. But this is actually in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, where we stayed overnight at a brewery. And yeah, that's about it for that stuff. So very, very fun stuff going around doing the real reefing stuff, going to these trade shows, stopping into other people's stuff. Let's see if we've got somebody on. We do have Brian on here. Let me see if I can figure out how to get Brian into the stream here. To up main. Let's see. Oh, that looks good. Okay, let's see if we can add Brian in here. Add left, add right. Assign to guest 1. Oh, look at that.
Whoa.
Yeah, you are close up. I can fix that. Don't you worry. I can fix that. Hang on. Hang on. I got no audio coming through this. You know why?
Woo.
I don't think
What's
I
up,
plugged it in.
Terence?
Hang on. Hang on, buddy. This is a whole new platform I'm doing. Let's see if I... There we go. Oh, I'm going to hear myself, too. I don't know if I can deal with that. You out there, Brian?
I'm out there. How are
Okay.
you, man?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Let me pull back the zoom on this so you don't feel so like,
That
dude,
is
why are you so
zoom.
close in on me? So how's the
All right,
reef keeping?
Oh, man, reef keeping's going great. And that Ryan talk is a must-see. It
Absolutely.
is a must-see.
Were you
That's
there,
for sure.
or did you just see the video?
No. I saw the video when it dropped, and I was like, wow, that is... He gives you a list of everything, basically, that you should do if you're starting a new tank. And I'm about to start a new tank in about a year or so. It'll take me that long, which leads to one of my questions that I had for you, which is if I'm getting a water box 340 XL,
Okay.
which is basically 340 gallons of water, and I want to put it in my office, which is like a, I don't know, 11 by 36 office. I don't keep the office door closed or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Do I have to worry about a body of water like that in an office space like that? Do I have to vent that room or anything? Or
Well, it depends on a lot of
worry?
factors that go into it. The first one has to do with the relative humidity in general. If this is a place that's getting 24/7 air conditioning and the humidity
It
level is
is.
kept below 40% on its own generally, that
Yep.
kind of thing.
AC all the time, Pacific Northwest.
Right. So you're probably not going to have an issue if the door is open. If the door is closed and there's not a lot of venting, is it a hung ceiling?
No, it's just a normal house.
Oh, it's a
ceiling.
house. Okay, you said office. I thought it might have been in an office
Oh no,
building.
no, yeah. It's just my office at my house.
Right, right. Yeah, 300 gallons probably is not going to be a problem, but you just have to monitor the humidity because every house is different in how everybody lives. And something like that, a small dehumidifier, if you ever had a problem, would be enough. It also has to do with how you turn the water over. So if there's a lot of water agitation, you're going to get more water into the air as well.
Okay.
And if you use evaporative cooling on the tank, you're also going to have more water in the air, and then you're going to have house issues with mold and things like this. So again, it really depends on that environmental factor. Like I lived in Utah, I could have a couple of catastrophes on my aquarium, open the windows, wait 2 days, and everything would be fine because it's like 12% humidity. So
Gotcha.
there's mold will never come, unless it's
Gotcha.
always fully enclosed. So you just have to monitor the
and
humidity.
Get a dehumidifier if I need one.
Yeah, and you can
after
get a
monitor the humidity.
very inexpensive, humidity sensor with a digital readout from like Amazon, and know if you're having any kind of issues at all. And if you do, the easiest way to deal with it to begin with, if the weather suits it, is you just use an exhaust fan. So you have an exhaust fan on a window or out and above. You put one through the whatever. And then you control it with your Apex to come on and off using a humidistat. So that same humidifier, humidity sensor, many of them will have a relay on them. And it will open and close like a switch, and you can put that into your breakout box and turn on and off your exhaust fan accordingly.
Okay, yeah, I could do that. I also could vent it into my garage because my tank is going to be on the same wall as my garage. They share a wall.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
So just
I would
punch
put that in
through.
your plan regardless because, even if you don't do it right away, like, okay, this is where I would put it if I need it, how it's going to go, just kind of plan for it. And then if you need to have that exhaust fan, it'll be real easy to punch it through the wall, put a couple of grates on it, and kick it on when you need to.
Awesome.
That's the way I'd go
Thank
about
you.
it.
I appreciate that.
Not a problem, not a problem. So have we ever met?
We have never met, but I
Okay.
definitely want to meet. I want to go out to, now that COVID's kind of, I don't know that it's settled down, but now that the trade shows are happening again, I'd love to see you out there at one of the trade shows, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely, the events are great. I'll be out at Reef-A-Palooza next week and see the stuff that's there. We can talk about the new Neptune stuff on the show. You saw that they released some new products, right?
Oh yeah, I was going to ask you about that. I didn't know if
Ask
I
away.
assumed that was the first question everybody wants to know. What does Terence think about the new Neptune stuff?
So the deal is, it doesn't take much imagination. That stuff didn't get started 3 months ago. I've been gone from Neptune
Sure.
Systems for 10 months or something now, right? So much of that stuff was stuff I was working on, before we even were acquired at the time by Aperture. So the liquid level sensor goes back years that I was trying to get that product done.
Well, so I have a question about that.
I can only
This-
tell you so much, so understand that.
No. I do have a question about that. So I saw the liquid level sensor because I think Neptune put out a little picture of it at one point or something. And so at some point they were advertising that it was something new that they were coming out with. And then Telegram put on his website that it was that other people have done liquid level sensors, or they're using the same liquid level sensor and rebranding it, which I personally could care less if they rebrand something or not. My question is, why the heck didn't we know that thing existed? Like, as a reefer, I'm out there on YouTube and I'm looking at stuff on the internet, and I hadn't seen
So
that liquid level
this is an
sensor
interesting topic.
Anywhere.
Yes, so it's an interesting topic. The Johnny-come-lately people who say, "Oh, look, they just took such and such from so and so." Well, why didn't somebody else do it 2 years ago if you're so smart? Okay,
Yeah,
why
yeah.
didn't you put that information out there? It's easy to crap on somebody who brings something to market and you're like, oh, well, that was done by this guy over here. But nobody applied it or applied it in the same way. And by applying it the same way, look, right now, anybody can go out and get the E-tape sensor. It's not a mystery. You can find a way to wire one up and make it work with your Apex, okay? You can talk to any of the Neptune people, they'll tell you the same thing, okay? The difference is if you want to be, if you want PC or you want Apple, or if you want Android or you want Apple, is kind of a relationship that you have, or you want to build your own PC versus buying a Dell one, okay? It's very similar to that kind of thing. And so there's a lot of this technology that's out there that's either not being applied by certain manufacturers who are putting it out in the reef keeping community, or other products that are not in the reef keeping community that are being applied, or that basically I found at the time years ago to apply to the reef keeping community. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh look, that's been around forever. Well, yeah. But has it ever been plug and play? Has it ever been plug and play where somebody can have an Apex?
Why didn't we know about it?
Yeah, you can have an Apex and you can have 4 ports on the Apex and just plug it in and not even think about it. That's what makes the Apex so awesome, right? Yeah. Is that it's not that you can't go find something for half the price, because you're going to be halfway there when you buy it for half the price. So a very smart person once told me, and he'll know who he is, that I can make more money, but I can't make more time. And, right. And so there are extremes of that, but when it comes to, you know, some of these things that you see that have been repurposed or somebody else uses it, or in the case of some of the new sensors that Neptune has, another company makes them and makes them for multiple companies. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Samsung makes screens for lots of phones or accessories that are made for, I don't understand where the big issue is. And what most people don't understand in the cost also, Brian, is it's the cost of the sales network is what a lot of this is. And you know, if you want to make something and sell it in a store, you got to give up a big chunk of that cash to the store, and then you've got to then build it and support it and still make money.
Yeah, well, it's like Adaptive Reef. So Adaptive Reef said they were going to make this thing where it's basically a tube and you put all your probes in it. And I was like, oh, that's ingenious, because then you've got flow going by all your probes. And then
existed for years.
I was like, I got to get that. And then I was watching a video the other day. I can't remember which one it was. And this guy had this thing with all of his probes in it.
Yeah.
And he was like, they were like, what? The guy was like, what's that? And he's like, oh, it's a thing with all my probes in it. It's from the swimming pool industry.
Swimming pool industry.
I install swimming pools.
Yep.
So it's like, okay, why can't we repurpose that?
Yeah, and Brian, if anybody wants to get upset, go look at the swimming pool industry and see what they get for that probe holder. Okay.
Oh, is it expensive?
Oh, it's uber expensive for what it is, right? I think it's like $300 or something, right?
Gotcha.
And it's not as nifty as Kyle's from Adaptive, and it. I don't know. I don't know how to answer some of this other than what I have. As far as the new Apex stuff, it's a small evolution. It's not a revolution. It wasn't meant to be. It's meant to basically give new customers a different option that they had before, and probably something that they would use a little bit more than what was offered with it previously. Sure. And that's really all it is, except for the Junior, and the Junior is where, to be honest, at $300, I'm quite surprised that they priced it that low. Because, again, once you take out what the store's got to make $100 off each one of those. Now back out what all the parts and pieces are that are in there, and putting it together and supporting it, and the software support and everything else, and then you have to take home some money for profit, because that's what business does.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you could be banking on the fact that if you get them into anything in the ecosystem, then they're going to buy more of your products.
Sure, that is the razor and the blades.
That must be the thing.
That's the razor and blades marketing approach. And again, I can't really discuss more because of my experiences with Neptune, but it's even at $300, even with that particular type of marketing approach, it's a great deal. No matter what anybody else says there, look, I don't work for the company anymore. I don't have shares in the company anymore. I have no reason to, to want to, to say great things necessarily other than the products are great. So
Yeah.
there you go.
I think it's fantastic. It gives everybody an entry point into it. And if they're not making much money on it just to get people into the ecosystem, I think that's fantastic because it's a great ecosystem to be in anyway. I used to work for HP and they had these inkjet printers, and the inkjet printer you could get for like 350 bucks,
Yeah,
and the company made no money on the
yes,
printer.
it's been known for a long time, yes.
They made no money. They made all of their money was made on you buying an ink cartridge for the printer. They were basically giving you the printer away for free.
Yep.
As far as margin goes.
So we got a bunch of people on the stream here. If any of you guys want to come on and ask a question to me or discuss something or what have you, the link is up there on the top of the page, tinyurl.com/join-rr, and I'll throw you on the live stream. We can have a chat. Thank you so much, Brian, for coming on.
Thanks.
I'm going to go back and I'm going to clean my tank now in front of all you guys so you can see the flipper.
Use the new.
That's what I'm going to do, the flipper. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Take care, Brian. Thanks for coming on.
All right, guys, so here's the long shot. Oh, I can't handle hearing myself.
Let's see, we'll mute that one. Okay. Let's clean the tank. How about we do that? And then I'm going to address Devin's questions and some of his humidity comments. Okay. I might have to leave the scene for a few seconds and grab a fresh, cold beverage. Okay. So hopefully you guys can see me. This is the new Flipper Edge. I don't get anything from the company. I did get it for free. So take that into consideration, but I'm going to tell you right now, it's the best magnet cleaner I've ever used, and I've used a lot of these magnet cleaners. I think the only other one that I've liked or enjoyed using more than this is probably on the Nano Tank, the little one that Two Little Fishies has. It's just fun to scrub it around. But this is an 8-foot tank. This is 425 gallons. It's 32 inches by 96 inches by 32 inches, so it's a big tank. And for most people cleaning their aquarium, it'd take a long time to do this with the old-fashioned Kent scraper or what have you. I'm going to talk in a little bit about what's happening with all my corals and stuff because it's a nightmare. I know you guys like it's a nightmare. It looks awesome. Anyway, watch how fast I can clean the front of this tank with the flipper scraper. And this is probably a week's or more of like neglect. Yeah. Back and forth. There's an edge on each side. And I'm probably going to break a couple of corals. Just don't want to break that pearlberry right there. So I'm going to kind of go around that. Look how fast. Look at that, hide nose about to get hit right there too. Gotta be careful around that pearlberry, okay? I should get commission on this though. This is like a ShamWow kind of demo, I'm telling you. And I'm not even doing it as fast as I usually do, and that's only because I don't want to break any corals right now, or at least not that many, because I need to frag this tank. So, sometimes I do it half and half instead of all the way, but for effect right now I'm kind of doing it for the full length. Now I got to go around this. This is a Robusta that's growing into the glass. So now I'm going to get down here under this Robusta. My fish are going wild because they like it. They love clean the glass time. Uh-oh, that stag is going to get broken. There it goes. Guess we're going to have to fix that one of these days when I put my hands in my tank. If any of you have watched me before, you know I'm a big proponent of keeping your hands out of the aquarium. So I don't have perfect sand. I don't have perfect looking corals. I have stuff that grows and grows kind of more like a natural reef. So down here in the bottom down here, I've got these hydnophoras that I was hoping to have my GoPro working here to give you guys some close-ups. It's not working right now. Next live stream I will, promise. But these hydnophoras down here, these were probably about 3/8 of an inch little chips off the big guy up there. 16 months ago, yeah, February of 2021, I trimmed this whole tank completely back. That hydro, that big one there, is the size of a basketball or bigger. That thing was down to probably the size of a baseball or a softball. And a couple of the chips landed down here, 3/8 chips. These are now the size of softballs. So yeah, that's why I go through calcium reactor media. But you can see how fast and easy I just did that whole section of glass. This is, to me, this is an aquarium magnet to kill all other aquarium magnets out there. It is that good. And this is 3/4 inch glass. So it's super, super thick glass, but yet still cleans it up really good. So now it's at least a clean aquarium. Lots of reflections from outside on there, but yeah, you can see what's going on. So let's see. Nobody else wants to join the stream? Okay, that's fine. No big deal. Let's see. Okay, go back over here. See some comments. You do that, and I'm going to finish the mashed potatoes for dinner. That's a pretty funny comment. Okay. And let's see. So Reef Dude said that's a lot of coral on the sand bed. Did they all start from frags while cleaning the glass? Absolutely, 100%. Everything you see on the sand bed down there, except one coral right there in the middle, every single thing was a frag that came off of something up there and then grew down in the sand bed. And you know what? For all the haters out there on the sky lights, I can tell you right now, the amount of coral that I'm growing in the sand bed under the canopy of other corals, and I've been running these lights for, I don't even know how, 2 years now or something like that. Yeah, having a big panel of light that throws light in that kind of spread and bounces it off the glass the way it's supposed to allows you to grow corals where other corals would never grow. And that's because of that light technology. That light technology can be used in a lot of lights, the coral care light or the sky, but definitely it's the best technology for growing coral on a reef tank. Opinion, yes, but proof. So let's see here. Reef Dude says, my single blade flippers feel inadequate. They are. In fact, when you watch the flipper video that I did, the people from Flipper weren't super excited about it because, again, I'm doing real reefing, so I'm going to tell you how it is and how I really feel. And the new flipper was so good that I had to bring up what I didn't like about the old one so much, which a big part of it was, how good the magnet was, right? And on the float one I'm talking about, to the fact that the non-floatable one is the one I continue to use because the float one didn't stick well enough on the tank, didn't have enough stiction with the magnet. And when I put this thing on and used it, I'm blown away. And I don't get like that on a lot of products. Anybody that knows me, I don't hype products. Well, I hype Neptune products, okay, for sure, because I love them and I think they're great. But I'm not one just to hype everybody's product. This product, and I just buy the most expensive one, which is their Edge Max, whatever one, comes in the box. I think it's like 20 or 30 bucks more, and you get the best one that they make. So love it, love it. How would you deal with pests in a tank that big and with so much coral growth? So it's kind of an involved question, but the first thing you got to answer is what kind of pests, right? I have lots of pests in the tank, okay? Before I cleaned the glass, you saw I had the little asterina starfish in there. That's, by a lot of people's account, a pest. I have bryopsis that grows in the top of the coral sometimes up there that I've had to treat with the flucoxanol a few different times and use the Blue Life USA flucoxanol treatment. I don't really care that much about the Aptasia because the types of fish that I have keep that in check. I don't have acro-eating flatworms because I don't really trade that much coral. And while I am not a big fish quarantine person, I know, shame on me, as far as long-term quarantine, I do spend a lot of time on any coral that I put in the tank. So, I take it off its base, I cut off the base, I might keep the base, but I'll treat it in a separate tank if I want to keep it, or I'll just chuck it. I dip it, I inspect it under magnification. I do these kinds of things before I stick the coral in my tank, because although aqua-eating flatworms are not the end of a tank, they are a horrible nightmare. Same thing with red bugs, which are eradicated, not so difficult, but again, so I'm not a person who freaks out about all of the different kinds of bugs and pests that I can get in the tank. I just have certain ways to make sure that they can be dealt with, or the ones I for sure don't want to get, I take special care for. Let's see here. Devin's still on the flipper magnet. Yeah, so you do an 8-foot tank. Again, this is 8-foot tank this way. It's 2.5 that way, 2.5 that way. It's 13 linear feet of tank. So 13 times 2.5, 20. Was that 26, 33 or something square feet of glass. So that's a lot of glass to have to clean, and I hate cleaning glass. And so that thing is a dream for me. Brandon Scott Art, okay, says, how's your pH? Do you care? I do care. I do watch the pH, not so much that I care like how it's going to grow the tank, but I kind of know where my tank lives and is happy. And when it's out of those bounds, I know that something's not going well. I don't calibrate my pH probe nearly enough. I probably do it once every 12 to 18 months, but I'm very kind of aware of what's going on in the tank. But I don't stress about pH or like, okay, my pH is 8.05, and everybody says if you have 8.3 pH, your stuff's going to grow like a weed. Well, yeah. So back to kind of the stuff. Also, again, there's a URL at the top of the page there. If you want to join the talk, I'd love to have you on. Brian already came on and had a question. We had a little chat. I'd love to make real reefing about not just myself and somebody like Mark Callahan, but about you guys as well. You get to join, you get to join it. I'll tell you, one of the biggest challenges that I have right now with my aquarium is keeping interest in it. So everybody goes through these, I think, boom and bust cycles with aquariums, whether it's because they have an issue with their aquarium or they just get bored with it or what have you. I love our aquarium. It's a great centerpiece of our house. Everybody loves it when they come over. It takes care of itself so well that that's almost a detriment to me keeping interest, because I don't have to stay engaged into it as much as some do, or as maybe I probably should. So my biggest problem right now is staying engaged with it, wanting to make things new, and then, overgrowth. I mean, right now, look at this. It's not looking the best that it can look because it's overgrown. There's a wisp of algae up here in the corner because I have to do something about that. I get to these little things, but I've got this beautiful Robusta coral right here that I've allowed to just grow right into the glass, and I haven't done anything about it. And the corals are growing out of the tank right now, literally growing out of the tank. And I have to just cut them all back, and it's a project, and I have to find the interest and the level to do it. So what I will say is, if you're in the South Bay area and you're on this live stream, okay, or you know somebody that is, and you want to come get some corals, and you want to help out or something, send me a note in the comments, or find a way to send me a private message on Facebook, on the Real Reefing channel, or whatever, because maybe that'll give me the motivation to cut back a bunch of coral in the tank. There's a lot of good stuff in there. You're not going to find any real zoanthids or anything like that, but you will find a ton of SPS. So I know a lot of people, and Manoj just said this. It says, looks like a dream tank. I'd love to have that problem. I know I sound ungrateful because it is a great aquarium, and it amazes me every day that I walk by it. But one of the issues that you'll find is when you do have a lot of success, right, in anything in life, I think, you have a fear of making changes, right, because you have a lot of success. And you don't know if you can have more success or if it's going to bring about, more challenge and more failure, or what it might be. So you tend to kind of ride the wave of how things are going. And I think that's to my detriment with the tank, right? Because it is growing like crazy. It does grow tons of coral. Lots of people would be envious. What are you worried about? All of that. But I'd like to switch some things up. I mean, I've got this colony here of pearlberry, acropora, that's right here. And it's probably, I wish I had that other GoPro camera working because then you guys would be able to tell, but it's probably about 16, 17 inches in diameter tabling. And it's amazing, but I'm just afraid it's going to break off, and then what do I do? Cut the whole thing up, or I don't know. I don't know what to do. It's just, so I don't even like to put my hands in the tank. And then I got this noise problem on here, right? That, you know, creates this noise in my house that I've now just become accustomed to. So it doesn't even bother me anymore. But it's noisy. And I was hoping to get, I have another reef keeping friend that's really good to help me get the noise down on it. He hasn't had time to come out. I won't call him out again, but if he watches it, he'll know who he is. I need to get the noise out of the tank, but it's really challenging because of the way that the drains work, and they're like 85 feet away to the sump, and so I can't get on that. My feeding schedule, right? I can't get the interest in that. Let's talk about real reefing, right? You know, feeding the tank, I'm not as good as I should be on feeding the tank. I mean, I throw my pellets in the tank. I give them some frozen food. I like to do it every day, but I'll skip a day or two sometimes. It's, you know, it's kind of sad, really, but it's real reefing, so here you get to hear it. This is what it is to have a reef tank. Oh, what happened there? I lost the camera? Oh, I lost one of the cameras. Oh, well. I guess we're going to go off of the other camera now because I probably have a dead camera. Okay. Let's see. Oh, that's horrible. I wonder. No, I don't have a helper anymore. There we go. There we go. All right, let's push this in here. Okay. Now we got a picture. We'll go off of my camera on my tank, or on my computer, because the other one kind of crapped out. So, I think it did. Okay, so anyway, that's you know, a big part of you know, what's going on with the tank and me and trying to put this stuff together. The other thing that's going to be happening with this channel, just so you know, before we cut out here, I don't know how long we've been rolling here, but I appreciate all you guys being here. Wow, man, I can't believe I have that many viewers. Thank you guys. Go out, hit the thumbs up if you can. I'm now looking at the wrong camera all the time because that camera's off. But yeah, hit the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, hit the bell. You know, help me out with that. Let's get that thing up there. Maybe I can get to 1,000 subs on this thing at some point. The flipper I already talked to you guys about. I already did one on that product. I got this sent to me from one of the online sellers, and I'm going to take a look at that. This is the magnesium one. I know it's had problems. Maybe you guys can give me some suggestions in the comments on it as far as what I'm supposed to, or how I'm supposed to use it, or I guess there's some newfound things that they came up with. I haven't been a super huge fan of the Hanna checker since the alkalinity checker. I love the alkalinity checker, and I like the phosphate checker, the higher range phosphate checker or nitrate checker, those two. But calcium, not a fan. I also got this. I got it for a prize at the raffle at Reef-A-Palooza in Orlando. So I'm going to test this out and tell you what I think about this little guy. They're supposed to be really cool. I turned it on. It was kind of confusing. They got 9 apps out there. It's a Khmer, what is it? X1 Pro T. I might use it to drive my sulfur denitrator that I'm currently running off of PMUP, but we'll see whether or not I do. I think it's a decent company. I know the people pretty well there and met with them many times. And they got some pretty good products out there. Software is where everything, in my opinion, really breaks down for all of these companies. It's usually not a hardware issue. And then last but not least, I am going to do, hopefully, an aquarium for the motorhome, a traveling micro reef-ready tank. These guys from P&W Custom came out and, you know, they gave me this thing. I didn't get it for free. Oh, look, I got a little guy coming here. And I'm going to set it up in the motorhome and hopefully put some zoanthas or some softies. Teddy, come here. Come here. Come here. You want to say hi?
Say hi to everyone, Teddy.
Come here.
Say hi.
There's Teddy.
My birthday's coming up.
So there's Teddy. Teddy is part of the Real Reefing crew, aren't you, Teddy? Yes.
I know you're going to turn 2.
So Teddy is part of the traveling crew. We'll be going back out east and heading to Macna. We'll be starting our trip on the 22nd. Yes, on the 22nd of August, and rolling across the country, heading over to Milwaukee and going to Macna over there. What are you looking at? You looking at yourself in the screen over there? Yeah. So there's that. And so I'm going to put together that tank in the aquarium and, put that aquarium in the RV, and we'll see. We'll see whether or not I can I'll have a big jug of my own tank water, I think, from this guy, is how I'll feed it, right? I'll just basically have a bunch of my own kind of seasoned tank water. And kind of cheating, I know, but it's a tiny little tank, and we'll see how it goes. Let's see if we have any other questions, and then maybe I'll close out the stream. It's been about an hour. It's about all that people can go with. Brian says, have you tried the silencer that Tidal Gardens just put on his tanks? Will that help you? I don't know if that's one of those Molly's mufflers or something like that. I've tried those. Not really successful. For me, in what I have here, it still made some noise. Let's see, Jay Ellis asks, love your Heniochus. Well, Jay Ellis, you want to come by and have them? The Heniochus, I don't know which ones they are. They were supposed to be the ones that are reef safe. They are not, or if they are, they didn't read the memo. And so it does limit what I can have in this aquarium. So they will go after certain things like zoanthids and whatnot in the tank, probably anemones and other things. They don't go after the SPS at all, but that they're pigs. They eat a lot, they poop a lot, and yeah. So I'd like to get rid of them, but then again, it's a love-hate relationship because they look beautiful in the tank, I know, and they're huge. Brandon Scott Art asks, what traces do you use? Do you test much? No and no. So I do not use any trace elements whatsoever. I rely purely on water changes to supply the trace elements. I don't consider potassium a trace element. So as far as potassium goes, I do add potassium to the tank. Sorry, I keep looking up at the wrong camera because it's just habit. So I do use potassium in the tank. About every 6 months, I'll dose a large load of potassium, and I'll test that about once a year. It is a deal. Again, plug my own video. If you go watch the Milov's Reef video, you'll see us talking about potassium there and Mark's woes with that. As far as testing, once in a while, I will do a nitrate test and a phosphate test, and I will double check with an alkalinity test. By once in a while, probably every 3 to 6 months. Outside of that, my testing happens from my Trident and me calibrating the Trident with the Trident's calibration solution. I have a lot of faith in that, and those elements are obviously key reef keeping elements. And my husbandry and the way I've been keeping the tank for so many years has come into a really good stasis, so I don't really worry about the other nutrients. I don't change anything dramatically to worry about that. Thank you so much, Minaj, for missing the Reefing Report show. Someday, hopefully, it's going to be back and we'll reboot it. It's not dead. It's just sleeping for now. I did love much that site that we put together and the commentary, but we got to speak from the heart, so I'm going to give it a break for now. Yeah. Any other questions? I know you guys are out there. I wish we would have had more people want to participate. Well, you know I'm going to do it for next time, so if you guys aren't ready with your phones or your headphones or whatever, and you want to come out and ask me a question or put me on the spot or challenge me or anything else, I'm more than open to it. It happens all the time, or at least it happened all the time when I'm at a Neptune booth at a trade show, so it doesn't bother me one bit. I'd love to have the conversation. I'd love to have the challenging conversation. I'd love to do it here on the Real Reefing channel. Again, we're going to be down in Reef-A-Palooza, so if you're down there and you see me, please stop me and say hi. As well, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, share this video and others if you can out there for me, help me out, do me a favor, I really appreciate it. Hit the, of course, not just the subscribe, but the alert bell, because if I'm at Reef-A-Palooza or something, I do a live feed. Well, guess what? You're going to be able to get it right there live and ask me questions or ask me to go to a certain booth or what have you. So that's it for now, guys. Thank you so much for joining me on the Real Reefing channel. Last question I will get in here because this one is very pertinent. VCA, Antonio says, what days will you guys be doing your live streams? I don't know. Wednesday was good for me right now. I don't know what's going to be good for me long term, but I'm more interested in knowing what's going to be good for you guys long term. So give me some feedback in the comments. Let me know in the video comments after the video ends or what have you, so it's easier for me to find them. And tell me what day and times work the best for you, or you think would work best for all the reef keepers, and I'll pick one. So again, thank you so much for joining me here and listening to me and being part of my reef keeping experience. It's really important to me to stay connected to all of you guys, even though I'm not with Neptune Systems anymore. I love the hobby. I love all of you guys. I love helping people out. I love information sharing. And doing it on the road and stuff is just so fun. So join me in this experience. Help me out by sharing. And until next time, stay tuned. Stay tuned to the Real Reefing channel.